Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something huge that's happening right now, literally under our noses. I'm talking about artificial intelligence and how it's completely rewiring our entire economy. And I mean everything from the biggest companies on the planet right down to, our everyday lives. I mean, wow. The world as you know it is over. That is a heavy statement, right? And it's not from some random person. This is from Raoul, who used to be the chief business officer at Google X, so he knows a thing or two. And look, he's not talking about some distant sci-fi future. He's saying that the world we've always known, the one built on scarcity, where for one company to win, another had to lose, that world is already gone. And the single biggest reason, you guessed it, AI. But, to really get your head around something this massive, we don't need to start with some crazy abstract theory. The whole story, the story of how this world ends and what comes next, it actually starts with something super simple, something you might have dealt with. Yourself fixing a leaky sink. So section 1, the world is over. And look, when we say that, we're not talking about some doomsday scenario, okay? We're talking about the end of business as usual. The old way of doing things is gone. Because AI, it's not just some fancy tool for giant tech companies anymore. It's becoming a personal assistant, a problem solver in your pocket that's changing how we all deal with the real physical world. All right, let's get super practical with this. Imagine your garbage disposal just eyes. The old way, you're probably spending 20 minutes scrolling through YouTube tutorials trying to find the right one. Or you just give up and call a plumber, right? The new way, you pull out your phone, you snap a photo, and you literally just ask the AI, hey, what's wrong with this thing? And boom, it tells you the exact model number and gives you step-by-step instructions. What would have been a whole ordeal is now a 3-minute fix. This is what they call multimodal AI. It can see, it can listen, and it can think. It might seem like a small thing, but trust me, this is a massive shift in power. Okay, section 2. Now, I want you to take that little kitchen fix we just talked about and zoom all the way out, because that same incredible disruptive power, it's now being pointed at the very foundations of our entire economy. Some people are even calling this capitalism eating itself. For centuries, big successful companies have protected themselves with something called a moat, like a castle moat. These were these huge barriers that just kept all the competition out. Things like needing mountains of cash to even get started, or having to find super rare, brilliant talent, and maybe the biggest one of all, just having the time to build something before anyone else could copy you. And this is where the problem comes in for all those big established players. Because AI, it's basically kryptonite to those old moats, especially for any company that's built on code. Just think about it. For the last decade and a half, our economy has been run by companies built on software. And now you've got AI that can write, replicate, and improve that code at a speed that is just mind-boggling. Those old protections, they're becoming pretty much useless. Now, to be fair, this kind of disruption isn't brand new. The average lifespan of a top company has been getting shorter for decades. But AI is like pouring gasoline on that fire. Look at this. Back in the 60s, a top company on the S&P 500 would stick around for about 33 years. By 2025, the projection is just 14 years. And AI is just hitting the fast-forward button on this trend like never before. The rules of the game they're completely different now. You needed huge amounts of capital. Not so much anymore. You needed a team of genius coders. Well, now there are tools that let you build software just by describing what you want in plain English. And the time it takes to go from an idea to an actual product, it's collapsing. We're talking from years down to moments. That protective moat we talked about, it's been completely drained. Okay, so as that old system starts to crumble, a new one is already being built to take its place. This is section 3, the new digital economy. And what we're talking about here is the actual plumbing, the infrastructure for an economy that runs at the speed of machines, not people. And it really boils down to 3 core building blocks. First up, you have AI agents. Just think of these as little autonomous digital employees that live online and just go out and do business all by themselves. Second, you have stablecoins. This is the money these agents use. It's basically a digital dollar. It's instant, it's programmable, and it acts like a superconductor for payments. And finally, digital wallets. That's your front door, your access point to this whole new financial world. And this isn't theory. This is happening right now, in real time. If you look at a platform like Stripe, you'll see over 700 new AI startups have popped up. And what are they doing? They're deploying these AI agents to handle payments, run operations, do it all automatically. And when these digital employees need to pay each other, they're not waiting around for a bank transfer. No way. They're using stablecoins for instant, totally frictionless transactions. It's a whole new machine-to-a-chain economy being built as we speak. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, this isn't some tiny little experiment. Stripe, just one company in the middle of all this, is already processing $1.4 trillion a year in payments. So yeah, the digital economy isn't coming soon. It's here, and it is absolutely massive. But okay, this brave new world creates a pretty big new problem. And that brings us to Section 4, Bitcoin, the digital vault. In an economy where AI can just copy and create any digital thing, any piece of software, any service, instantly and infinitely, what's actually rare anymore? What has real value? No. Seriously, think about that for a second. If any app, any piece of software, any digital service you can think of could be perfectly copied by a competitor overnight with AI, your whole idea of a business model just evaporates. So where do you put your money? When do you store value when everything digital is basically free and infinite? Well, this is where we get to a tale of two very different kinds of modes. On one side, you have the company modes we talked about. They're built on code and ideas. And we've already seen how AI just tears right through those. But then you have Bitcoin's mode, and it's different. It's not built on code that can just be copied. It's built on a story, a shared narrative about digital scarcity that a whole global community has agreed to believe in. It's durable. It's more like gold, or maybe even a religion, because its power comes from that shared belief. As Jordi Visser puts it, Bitcoin's strength lies in a story supported by a community of people who accept it. And that's really the bottom line here. An AI can smash through any technical barrier a company puts up, but replicating a global shared belief system, that's a whole different ballgame. The real moat for something like Bitcoin isn't the technology, it's the story. It's the network of people who believe in it. All right. So far, everything we've discussed has been happening mostly behind a screen, right? It's all been about code and finance and data. But the next giant leap is bringing all of that intelligence out of the cloud and into our physical world. Which brings us to Section 5, AI gets a body. And the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, he couldn't have been more clear about this. He said, "We're entering the era of robotics. Every company will be a robotics company. The game is changing again. This incredible intelligence we've built isn't just going to sit there and answer our questions anymore. It's going to move. It's going to see. It's going to act right here alongside us." This is the world of what's called embodied AI. It's pretty simple, really. It's just the fusion of these powerful AI brains with physical hardware, a body. So we're talking about everything from humanoid robots working in factories and maybe even our homes, to fully self-driving cars on our streets. It's about smart devices that don't just wait for a command, but actually understand the world around them and interact with it. Now, as you can probably guess, powering all this physical AI, it's going to take an astronomical amount of computing power. Right now, the world spends about $500 billion a year on data centers. Well, to fuel this new wave of robotics, that number is projected to double to $1 trillion. And that's just in the next few years. We are in the middle of one of the biggest infrastructure projects in human history. So let's bring this all home. Section 6. What is money now? We've seen how AI is just dissolving old business models, how it's building a whole new economy run by machines, and how it's now starting to walk around in the physical world. And all of this leads to one final really deep question about what value even is anymore. We are barreling towards a future where intelligence itself is basically free, and energy, the stuff that powers it all, is becoming cheaper and more abundant than ever. So in a world like that, where the things we used to think were scarce aren't scarce anymore, what does value even mean? What is money? What is something truly worth? That's the huge question this new era is forcing us to answer. And whatever that answer is, it's going to define everything that comes next. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button, share this video with fellow investors who might benefit, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses and market insights. We eagerly await your comments below. Let us know your thoughts and what topics you'd love for us to explore next.